In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is this messenger. Welcome to another edition of Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. I am your host, Brother Jackie Muhammad, and I will be facilitating this beautiful discussion with a very, very special guest. But before we get to our guest, I want to introduce you to some wonderful brothers who Allah has brought into my life, who I have teamed up with. One brother, he's from, I don't know if he says he's from New York, but you know.
Baton Rouge,
New York. But this is my brother, long-time follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He comes from a beautiful family, a long list of believers. It's my brother and your brother. Brother Ahmed B.I.
Thank you. Thank you all for taking time out to join our podcast. My name is Brother Ahmed. I just want to welcome you all. We have an exciting show for you tonight. So please stay tuned, focus, and let's get busy. Thank you, Brother Jackie.
Yes, sir. Let's get busy. And before we get busy, we want to go ahead and introduce our third brother on the leg. He runs the third leg. That means he has to be fast, brother. He has to be fast. Praise be to Allah. But this is my brother, a cool brother, a brother's brother, Brother Kawi Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah. Walaikum salam, sir. Love the kind words. But thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. I'm honestly and sincerely saying to you that there's really no better place to be than with the Jock Brothers on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
That's right.
No better place to be. So thank you for tuning in and supporting the Jock Brothers as you always have, and I pray that you will do. No further ado. Look, I want to thank everybody for always supporting the Jock Brothers, for being consistent viewers to our show. Words just can't express how much we appreciate that. For those that have donated to the Jock Brothers platform, we thank you. Thank you. That's how we say it in the South. We say it 3 times. Thank you. So please support the podcast. We got big things on the table for the Jock Brothers. If you want to know how to support us, it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We use the Cash App platform or money form of and you in our Cash App nomenclature, and I'm bumbling today. Wow, my fault, brother. It's $ Jock Bros, $JAKQBROS, Jock Bros. All right, now we also have a prison initiative that we've been kicking out for the last 3 months, in which we're sending the baddest newspaper in the world behind bars to our locked up brothers and sisters. For those that want to support that, please send it to our Cash App. Again, that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but send a specific amount so that we can know that it's going to our brothers behind bars. It's $18 for 3 months. I think $60 for a year subscription. So please support the brothers behind bars. They need information too. They need to save themselves too. So please support that particular platform. And as always, please share and hit the bell. Subscribe, share, hit the bell so you can get upcoming information with the Jock Brothers. That's what I got for you, Brother Jackie.
Hold on, Brother Kawi. If I just wanted to add, if they have the inmates or the person incarcerated information, they could send it to our email.
That's right.
JockBrothersViewers@gmail.com.
If somebody that you know and specifically that you would like to this newspaper to go to, the final call that is, send that information to Jock Brothers Viewers at gmail.com. Jock Brothers Viewer. You can just send us your name and number. We'll call you so we can get the information for your loved one that's behind bars so that we can get the final call newspaper in their hands. So thank you again. Thank you, Brother Jackie.
Yes, sir. All right, brothers and sisters, as we move forward, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest. I want to go ahead and go over his bio first. Our guest tonight is Brother Dawud Talib Muhammad.
Dawud!
An automobile sales entrepreneur. He's an 80s baby. I won't say his birthday, but he's an 80s baby. Born in Newark, New Jersey. He graduated from a Catholic high school in Madison, New Jersey. He's a business marketing major. He started in the auto industry in 2006, a salesperson while attending Morehouse College. He worked for AutoNation, where he became the top sales associate within the company. Then he was promoted to finance and insurance manager and became the highest ranking manager in AutoNation 17 store district. Okay, see, now this is what I'm talking about. This is power moves right here. My young brother, 80s baby, making power moves.
That's right.
So now in Toyota in 2010 and built a #1 new car sales department in percent of objective of Southeast Toyota. After helping Savannah Toyota consistently win Toyota's President's Award, Muhammad began to be recruited by the most successful independent company in automobile industry, AMSI. I don't know them. Not familiar with that. In 2013, AMSI, the largest independent automotive group, offered Muhammad a sales manager position at Southeast Toyota's top 10 dealership. Muhammad, extremely motivated by the attractive career path that could lead to a promotion to managing partner of one of AMSI dealerships, made an instant impact and was promoted to general sales manager. After only 4 months of employment with the company, Muhammad made an instant impact in his first general sales, leading his team to becoming the #1 Nissan store in North Carolina, inspiring his team to increase sales from 125 cars to 275 cars within a 12-month period, earned him a promotion to the executive manager and new open point, Monroe Nissan. So let's bring up our brother, the go-getter.
Go-getter.
80s baby.
Hard hitter.
Innovative, ambitious, passionate, highly disciplined, versatile, professional with an admirable career. My brother and yours, brother Dawud.
Dawud.
Alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, sir. Praise
you feel, sir?
Thank you. You're far too kind.
Hey, man, hey, look, when you're doing your thing, brother, we highlight success here, brother. We highlight success. We're not haters. We highlight success. But look, so we want to start off, brother, by asking you, since you made all these moves, what's your credit score?
950. No, the flesh.
Okay, brother. Well, let's get how you started. Did you always want to work in the auto industry, or is that something you just that led to?
So I always was in sales because of my dad. So I started selling at like 6 years old with my dad because I've always known my father to be a salesperson. So when we was coming up, like I never known my dad to really have a job for a real long time other than going to New York, buying products, and then coming to New Jersey and selling those products retail that he had purchased wholesale in New York. So a lot of my upbringing was, being around that entrepreneurial spirit, that do for self spirit. So I started, learning how to sell hats in Final Call newspaper, like 5-6 years old. In Newark, New Jersey, I started the hat business with my dad. So my dad would take me to New York at a young age. We'd get on the PATH train, go over to New York, like 33rd Street, Manhattan. We go buy dozens of hats. We could buy a dozen for $30, and we would sell them for $5 a piece, make $60, make a $30 profit, and then go back and double up. And my dad would front me my first dozen of hats, and I would sell our hats in the apartment building that we lived in. And once I got that knack for selling, it just I just never turned back. So I was selling hats and Final Call newspapers at a super, super young age. So when I stumbled into the car business, it was just it was natural because I was always into sales, but it was just a bigger ticket item with a lot of upside. So once I got a taste of a little bit of success in the car business, it was a wrap.
Brother, let me just say this, brother. I mean, I know of we don't get loans like that to open up dealerships, brother. We get student loans, We get home loans. We get automobile loans. We don't get business loans, brother. And and I want everybody to know this is not no buy here, pay here lot that this brother owns. This brother owns a major dealership in North Carolina. Major, the ones you see in like Alpharetta and Buckhead. And I just don't see a black man other than celebrities that got most of their money through entertainment or sports. So how you get the money, brother, to make such a major purchase?
So
Okay, but hold on, brother.
We gonna okay.
Yeah, he went so far. We didn't even get with your background though. But go ahead, brother. You didn't already.
No. Go ahead, brother Jack. Save
we
that.
put that in the background. All around.
We had to
put that in the
work.
backpack,
Go ahead, brother.
We're gonna go north, south, east, west, and we're gonna come back to the middle.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to get right to how you get. Okay, so that's gonna start. That's still gonna take us back though, because one thing that my dad told me about credit is he said that credit is credibility. So once you build your credibility, then people are willing to loan you money, or they're willing to take a risk on put resources towards that particular business venture or that vision that you have. So when my dad started teaching us credit, I mean, we started learning about credit at a super young age. That's one aspect of it. But then the other part is just, what the Most High Elijah Muhammad taught us as far as like just paying our bills and living below our means. So, I mean, that's really credit in itself. If you live below your means and you pay your bills, you're gonna have good credit, right? If you just pay your bills on time and live below your means. So my dad was teaching us credit at a super young age. So when I first learned credit, I was like a stickler about it. Like, we had like these apps I was probably 20 years ago. I had an app probably that I was looking at every week to see my credit. And if anything changed, I was getting alerts. So I was getting this like a long time ago. So I was already, building up my credit, buying my cars, my personal cars, buying my first house in my 20s, and just saving up a lot of money, always stacking money, always lived below my means. No matter how much I made, I always lived like super, super low below, well below my means, because ultimately I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur and own my own. So from a credit standpoint, when it came time for me to get my own dealership, I already had, assets, net worth, good credit, good background, experience in the business. So I had built my credibility from an experience standpoint of knowing how to do the job and perform at a high level. But I also had like the personal credit background to support the skill set. So a lot of times it's like, if you can't handle your own personal business, why would a bank give you money, millions of dollars, loan you millions of dollars to go run a business, a multi $1 million business? You're talking about businesses that do 50 million in revenue. Why would they loan you that, that type of money to take on that responsibility if you can't pay a Capital One $15 minimum credit card payment? So it's like, it's just that, what I'm saying? It's that concept. Paying attention to detail and just making sure you know what I'm saying, you pay things on time. But that's what we was taught. So it was a little easy from that perspective as far as getting a loan. That wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was breaking into the industry, an industry where it's 18,000 new car franchise dealerships. And when I say dealerships, I'm not talking about like, the buy here, pay here's or the little, used car lots and things of that nature. I'm talking about the new car franchise, the Toyota, the Nissan, the Honda, the Chevrolet, the Lexus, like the real new car franchise dealerships. It's about 18,000 in the United States. Of those 18,000, there's only 266 of them owned by a black person. So you're talking about 1.47% of the industry is owned by us, and we make up probably 30-40% of the workforce, if not more than that. So the hardest part is getting the opportunity, because there's so many generational monopolies within the business that if they don't sell to you, it's hard to get in. So just trying to maneuver up to, get into those positions where we're actually running the businesses, and then we could go be entrepreneurs. Because even if you have the money, the manufacturers won't approve you as a dealer, a dealership owner, without the experience as the dealer operator, without the experience of being a general manager for a certain amount of years. So typically, that's a barrier to entry also. So it's building up your credit and your personal profile while building up your professional profile to get to that next level, to where you can sit in front of a bank and say, I'm qualified. Let's do business. So that's kind of like a long way of kind of getting to the answer, but just to take it back and then try to bring it forward, since our brothers is fast forward. I try to squeeze you two, brother Jackie, and just what I'm saying.
I know, brother. Well, I wanted to see, like, because you was promoted to finance and insurance manager, and I'm wondering how, seeing these things and going from a salesman to a finance and insurance manager, and then going to a sales manager, and then a general manager. So, you're seeing the different stages of the business. And at what point, though, did you decide that, what, I think I can go ahead and own my own? I know enough as far as the intricacies of the business.
Man, that's beautiful. So, we love the devil because the devil gives us nothing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I got to the top of my career before now, I was the executive manager at Monroe Nissan. And from a salesperson in 2006 to an executive manager, which is the general manager, in 2014, like that period of growth and moving from these different cities and working in these different stores to grow in the business. When I got to that general manager position, coming through that journey, you don't see many Black general managers. In my whole career, I had met two in that whole, like 8 years or whatnot that I was working, give or take, to get to that general manager position. And once, because it seemed so far-fetched, it was like the focus was general manager, general manager, general manager.
Right. Yes, sir.
Once I got to that place and my income, quadrupled. It was a lot of money. Let's put it like that. I was making a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was a lot of.
You married, right, brother? You married, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to put that out there.
Absolutely. Look, if I wasn't married, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. I can tell you that.
Yes, sir.
Look,
yes,
we wouldn't be talking about no ownership, and I'll tell you that story. How when I got married, everything just started skyrocketing. So
absolutely. Yes,
so
sir.
What happened was I got to that point where I was like, it's this concept of being like a rich slave. So I had got, which is it ties into, you love the devil because he gives you nothing. So I got to that point where the money wasn't fulfilling because I was so conditioned to living below my means that the difference in money wasn't changing in my lifestyle. So I had been so financially comfortable for like 7 years straight prior to even being a general manager. So the finance piece wasn't it just wasn't sufficient. It wasn't fulfilling for me because in the back of my mind, since 6 years old, my whole goal was entrepreneurship. So once I got to that position, it just wasn't enough. So it felt like nothing. So because it felt like nothing in the spirit of we love the devil because he gives us nothing. When you rise to the top and it's like you feel unfulfilled, it literally feels like nothing. So you could be very financially straight, but inside you still don't feel fulfilled because you're not free and you're not an entrepreneur. So I had the burden and also the benefit of having grown up in a Nation of Islam household to where do for self was like normal language. It wasn't a foreign language because it was always talked about, but it was also displayed throughout my whole childhood. So that created a burden and a burning desire within me to be an entrepreneur, and I wouldn't have been settled within myself if I wasn't an owner. It just wouldn't have never worked for me. So I had tried, a bunch of little side businesses that didn't align with our teachings, and I failed in those businesses. So that's the spirituality. That's the spiritual aspect of business too, because when it wasn't aligning with Muhammad, it just wasn't working.
Yes,
So
sir.
I just kept working my way up to the top, to where I was like, man, I got to get to ownership. So that's what I would say from that perspective, is just knowing that our ultimate goal is freedom, justice, and equality for ourselves, for our family, for our community, for our nation. And when you have that instilled in you, it's hard to do something. It's hard to be settled doing something else. It's going to bother. It's like that self-accusing spirit. It's going to haunt you until you get there. So that was driving me to get free of that, to rid myself of that internal burden, that internal struggle, and then also just to be free enough, to be creative enough to control my own fate and my own destiny.
Wow.
Right. Because I was going to say that, yeah, because you were in that position, but someone was still telling you what to do because someone owned that particular location. So you was still working for somebody. Yeah, to be free it allows your creative expressions to grow and flourish, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
It seems like when you taking a step outward, it seems like you would have, okay, I'm gonna get a buy here, pay here dealership first. Maybe I can sell cars doing when everybody get their taxes back. Yeah, that's how we, sometimes that's how we start. It has a little fear aspect to it, but did you do anything prior to getting a new car dealership or in that same arena?
So I'm just thinking about like the fear aspect of it. So like the fear was removed because I had knowledge. So when you have I think I was the minister, let me see if I got what the minister said, because the minister said something real deep that I was studying just recently. And he talked about that fear, and he talked about knowledge. And he talked about, he said knowledge separates this was in Business is Warfare. I think he did that in I think he did it in 2016 if I'm not mistaken, at Tennessee State. It's a lecture called Business is Warfare. And he said knowledge separates man from beast. He says the search for and the acquisition of knowledge is what life is all about. So he was breaking down to us that once you have that knowledge, it removes fear. And he also teaches us that the difference between fear and belief and doubt. Belief and knowledge is doubt. And a lot of times the doubt is fueled by fear. So what I did was I had acquired so much knowledge that there was no fear to just go all in, because I had a command of the data. I had studied for so long that it was nothing to be afraid of. Like, I knew I could do it. So all the fear was gone. And then the other part, as far as the buy here, pay here piece, like I was, representing the Nation of Islam. So I strive to represent us in a light that reflects what our teachings should manifest. So when I looked at like the self-hate that we've been dealing with for so long, it's like we when we envision ourselves, we see ourselves doing something so small,
Right.
so often, and it's like, if I already know that that's something that we fight internally, mentally, and I'm trying to be a part of the freeing of that mentality and us getting out of that mentality, when my wife and I were searching for dealerships, I would say no to some deals that was good deals just because of the way the dealership looked. It could have been a phenomenal business that could have been just a great profitable business, but the image wasn't it wasn't like the clean glass to me. So because it didn't reflect that, I couldn't do a buy here, pay here. It wouldn't have aligned with what I'm hoping to accomplish, which is to be so successful in business that it just inspires us and raise the bar to where we could strive and think big when you think Nation of Islam. Because when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was amongst us in our businesses, we didn't have it wasn't janky business.
No, sir.
Right.
Guarantee Bank wasn't a little janky bank. It wasn't a check cash in place
right
next to the gas station. It was controlling interest of Guarantee Bank. You know, the office buildings in Chicago, the relationship with Peru, importing the fish, and all of these things that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing, the land that he was purchasing, all of this, Muhammad's farms and in the clothing businesses, all of these businesses, the restaurants, the grocery stores. Come on, this wasn't janky business. This was top tier business that was feeding families and feeding a whole nation. And then when you look at Muhammad Speaks, the newspaper that was fueling what we were doing, the engine of the Nation of Islam, you got to understand, like, everything the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did was impeccable. But we're also taught that greater works are within ye. So we're supposed to do greater works from a business perspective and just in general than what our Father has done. So what I didn't want to do was step out and do janky business. You know what I'm saying? And not represent us the way that the Nation of Islam is supposed to be represented.
All right. So that's a great segue. The imagery, if we can, we want to show pictures of the actual dealership. So go ahead, Speedy.
Start from the top. Start from the beginning. Here you go.
If you want me to narrate, brother.
Yeah, narrate, brother.
So this is Nissan of Hendersonville. I think it's like 25,000 square feet property with it's sitting on about 5.12 acres of land.
Wow.
Okay. So it's a fully operational professional franchise dealership. And it's a very successful business. And it's the first acquisition of Nation Automotive Group, which is the group in which we're gonna purchase several car dealerships. The goal is 100 dealerships, inshallah. So this was our first acquisition. We've been a year in business, had a phenomenal first year. Best year. Our first year in business was more successful than the last 10 years combined. Combined. Then before we purchased it, our first year was more successful than the last 10 years combined.
What do you say is the secret to your success? What are you doing different?
So I think the secret to all of the success is the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, without a doubt. It's like 100%. And the thing about it is, that's not even cliche or any type of, hey, let me hoorah the Nation of Islam. It's just actual fact. Because the proper handling of people, right? All business is people related. So a lot of businesses go out of business because of a lack of sales. A lot of times the lack of sales is based off a lack of treatment, not the proper handling and the proper treatment of people, the lack of leadership skills. So all of that is based on being a student, right? And based on the proper handling of people, the proper treatment of people, the respect for people, the genuine interest and concern for others, the respect for those in authority. All of these are principles taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If properly understood and properly applied, you could navigate a business world where only 1.47% of dealerships owned in the United States of America are by Black people, and you could be a part of that 1.47% as Dawud Talib Muhammad, because these teachings are invincible, and it's just actual fact. It's a true fact. And I always take pride in expressing that the entire time from 2006 until now that I've been selling cars, my name has always been Dawud Talib Muhammad. I've always been a representative of the Nation of Islam, a follower of the Most High Elijah Muhammad, taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I've never had to compromise walking with Jesus.
Right.
Right.
Let me say
You
one
really shouldn't have
thing.
to.
I know we went from you in your history, and you built up to the point where you now own a dealership. But I heard you say a little earlier that you tried different things. So could you speak on some of the things you tried? This is just to show others that it's all right to try to start different businesses, but you never quit. You know, you still should strive to move on and acquire things, but you know, just trying different things that sometimes may not work for you. I heard you say that a little earlier.
So yeah, no, real estate was good. It was let me tell you what I tried that I think. So I tried party promotions, right? Nightlife. Okay. So I tried doing the whole nightlife situation. I tried I think selling weave like hair, selling hair.
Right.
Make sure you pronounce that V correctly.
Yeah, weave,
V,
not weed, not weed, but weave, and
right.
a bunch of little other things. But the thing is that the reason why I was trying those things was because I was impatient in being an owner of a car dealership. So I was trying other things because while I was working for someone else, it still was bothering me inside to where I felt like I got to have something on the side that's mine, that's my own.
Right. That's right.
So that's what it was just like out of wanting to have my own, I was trying other businesses that I could say, well, I own that. I might work here, but I take this money and fuel this business that I own. But those businesses just weren't successful. And then I realized what I needed to do was I needed to focus on saving up my money and focus on getting to the top of this industry and owning a car dealership, and then owning several car dealerships, owning an automotive group. So but never quit. It's 15 years in the making. Like I've been in this business for 15 years.
Right.
From selling cars, and I've been to 6 different cities selling cars, traveling, sacrificing to get to that level.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Now, the Nation Automotive Group, that was established when you purchased the dealership or before?
Before. So I was a 25% owner. When I moved to West Palm Beach, it was to be a 25% owner of West Palm Beach Nissan. So I was a 25% partner of West Palm Beach Nissan for almost 4 years. And I was another scenario where if I'm 25% and my partner 75%, I'm still not free.
Right.
So that was a struggle too. Now, I almost got caught up in settling for that ownership piece, that ownership stake, as the owner of that store, because I still made it to ownership. Then I realized that it was bigger than ownership. It was freedom. It was freedom, and it was control. The ability to stop something, start something, and restart it, and just really, be in control of my destiny, be in control of my fate. So once I realized that the ownership piece wasn't enough, is freedom, justice, and equality. It's really freedom, brother. Like at the end of the day, like really what we want is the freedom
Right.
to accept our own and be ourselves.
That's right.
So that's what it really came down to. So when I realized that the 25% wasn't enough, then I realized the ownership wasn't enough. I had to be free in control as an owner. So when I was forced out of that situation that I was in, and it wasn't by choice, I was forced out. So I was forced to sell my 25% stock. And that's something else I think is very important to say also, because I have been very successful my entire career. And this store that I was 25% owner in was the biggest challenge that I had ever had in my career. And after taking a store that was at the bottom practically in every category and turning that store, when I finally got that store turned, my partner wasn't in agreement. He didn't view it the way I viewed it. So because he had control over my destiny, he was able to practically say, hey, here's a check, sell your stock. And I had no control over, fighting to keep my stock. So it's like, all right, no problem. I sold my stock. But once I sold my stock, I got in the car. I called my mom. My wife, and I said, baby, you won't believe it. We just been forced out, right? We've been forced out of our business, right? So we've been forced out, and my wife was like, good, we gonna make it happen. All right, cool.
Ride or die.
So when I came home, man, it was like
ride or die,
man, straight up. So when I came home, brother, that's the importance of a help meet, man. Like the help meet, MGT help meet. When I got home, man, we hugged and we was on a mission ever since that mission, and it took us I think 9 months or so. I think it took us like 9 months that was July. And so from July, I think it was July 20th was when we were forced out. So then in March 1st of 2021, we purchased the dealership. 2021, we purchased the dealership. So I think that's like 9 months from July to March. Is that 9 months?
Is it?
So let me ask you, brother. Let me ask you. So was that the reality for you, that business is warfare? Was that the turning the event for you to really know and understand that business is warfare?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Without a doubt. And that's why you gotta have control. Like, I'll give you an example. Even when it came, like when we first bought the dealership, right? We bought the business first and we leased the land, right? The whole time, brother. Like when I tell you we're so freedom oriented and like freedom driven, that the whole time we owned the business, we weren't settled because we didn't own the land. So we didn't own the land. We just didn't, like, even though we had 100% of the business and we had a lease that we could, lease for 20 years, just in the back of my mind, like I still, you're not free if you don't have land, brother. So it's producing land. So we still had to buy the land. So we purchased the land. I think 9 months, baby. Huh? December. So we December, right? So we bought the dealership in March. That's my queen in the back. She with me every time, everywhere, man. Even if you don't see it, even if you don't see it, she's present.
That's right. So, keep them straight, sister. Keep them straight.
Absolutely. So March 1st, we purchased the dealership and then the business, and then we purchased the land in December, like before the year was out. We purchased the land quick. So now we own 100% of the land, the building, and 100% of the business. So now we're like, okay, now we it's freedom. We have full control. We got control, the control that we need to accept our own and be ourselves and control the environment, control the business, control the culture. And there's no one that can tell us what to do.
So I have a question for you, Brother Dawud. I used to own, I owned some taxi cabs at one time. I owned like 5 of them. I didn't own the name. I I had to rent the name because it's a popular name, but I owned the cars. I promise you, as an owner of that cab, company, I was working almost 16 hours a day, man. I mean, it was mine. I worked as I wanted to work, but I didn't feel free because I was working so much trying to, keep maintenance up on the cars and the whole 9 yards and manage the other drivers and everything like that. So now I know everybody I've ever known that worked in the I guess car salesman industry. They put in hours, man.
Yeah, long hours. Yeah.
Long. So with that being said, I mean, I hear the freedom talk, right? But are you still putting up those type of hours?
Man,
I
that's a
mean,
great question, brother. I'm so glad that you asked that, because me and brother Ahmed was talking earlier today about working in the business and working on the business. And the name, just to double back on the name. So Nissan of Hendersonville, that name,
right.
My wife and I own that name, Nissan of Hendersonville. So we own that name. So when you say like our name is on the building, our name is on the building because we own the name that's on the building, Nissan of Hendersonville. So, but as far as the freedom piece goes, so now, instead of working in the business like I used to work, I worked in the business 15 hours, a day, 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, to learn the business and to learn how to operate and move people and inspire people and build teams. I had to do that because I needed to get that wisdom and get that knowledge. So that's in the business. But to grow the business and to grow an organization and to grow a company that can compete and last for 100+ years and generation to generation to generation to come, we're working on a system now. So that's working on the business. We're focusing on building a system to protect the business, to improve the business, and to create that system in which we could funnel people through that system that's already organized, like Muhammad's program. So if you look at the Nation of Islam and why the Nation of Islam has been so successful for 90 years plus, is because there's a program, there's a system, right? There's a system that Master Fard Muhammad gave to us and gave to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And there's a program, and that program hasn't changed over 90 years, right? The program is the program, and that program is it's a business program, but it's a spiritual program. So it's business, but it's fueled by spirituality. It's business because the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan describes business as the activity of life. So the Nation of Islam is the activity of life. It's a business, right? From that perspective of business, but it's fueled by spirituality, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that horizontal growth alone is death. So when you add the spiritual element that the Nation of Islam has, which is that vertical growth, that's what's going to keep us living forever, right? So when you look at Nissan of Hendersonville, which is the first acquisition of Nation Automotive Group, Nation Automotive Group has to be a business system that's morally correct, that's sustained by righteous practices, integrity, and to build that culture by building those type of people.
Come on, brother, talk that talk, man.
Core values. That's what's going to keep this organization and this company growing and growing and growing and growing. Right?
That's right,
so
brother.
When you talk about freedom, I'm free because the system that we're building is in place. But also, like the Most Honorable Muhammad taught us, when you have like mind, I think it's 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 like-minded people. So when my wife and I purchased the dealership, we didn't come alone. We came with like 6 to 8 like-minded people.
Right.
And like-minded isn't race specific. It's mentality driven, right? It's like-minded. So we got about 8 managers that came with us, almost 6 to 8 managers all like-minded people that we vetted over the years, that who I've worked with in business over the years. So when we came, we didn't come having to do a lot of selling on the ideas.
That's
And
good teaching, bro.
you know what I'm saying? We came like-minded. So because we
Come
were
on, man.
like-minded, when we came in, our second month in the dealership, we had double sales month number 2, because it was a force. So when the Most High Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb, here's an actual fact.
Right.
We came into the dealership, we united with 6 to 8 like-minded people that I had already had relationships with, that I worked with prior to this dealership. So when we came in there, that unity, that united mindset, we were able to literally double the business from an organization who had owned this dealership for 40 years. They was in this community for 40 years. Here we come, foreigners in a foreign environment, foreign business, but like-minded. We go in there. This is an actual fact. This is the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad. We go in there, we blow the store up. Major success, breaking every record that you can think of, right? And because of that system of like-minded people, the nation of Islam is going to be successful, because Master Father Muhammad, the Most High Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they have implemented a system, right?
Right.
All we got to do is take the books, look at the script, and walk into history.
Right.
It's already written for us to win. Now, if the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is absent, the Nation of Islam is still successful. When Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan departs, the Nation of Islam is still successful because of a program and a system, right? So now I'm dealing with a program and a system within my organization that we're continually improving, but it puts me in a position where I can have this interview right now and not even worry about if the dealership is operating, because my mind is there. So now I'm free.
You preaching, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Listen, brother. I'm just trying to show and prove that the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad is actual facts in real life. In a wicked and corrupt world that's hard to navigate through, but we have the weapon of truth, and we have a weapon of righteousness that's in a program that, if we just study it and really give Muhammad a real chance, what could he do for you? So I want to prove that and continue to prove that.
You know, when you were speaking of being forced out, I was thinking about Rocco. We could have sent Rocco over there, but in all fairness though, would you say that before a stepping stone, that something maybe happened that was disappointing like that? Because in your journey up.
Absolutely. I love when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, man. It's so, like, every question that you ask that's related to this business and the plight to growing in this business, I could reference the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I could reference the teachings, right? Because it really happened that way, right? So when you talk about disappointment, right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that what impacts disappointment is expectations, right? So when you have a false expectation and what you expected wasn't met, so disappointment is the child of unmet expectations, right? So you're getting your feelings hurt in the business because you're trusting in people who can't be trusted, right? You're putting your fate in the hands of people who don't have your best interest in mind. You in love with people who don't love you, never will love you, can't be reformed, won't be reformed, and is not for you. So, and that that people isn't limited because that mindset is spreading across all people, right? That mentality. So for me, it's like I had got my feelings hurt a couple times, and that's when I realized, like, oh snap! Wait, what he been telling us the whole time is right. it's actually fact, right?
Wake
So,
up,
you know.
yes, sir.
Sometimes, like sometimes you just need to know that, you know, you need to get you need to get burned a little bit so you can realize that, oh, whoa, that hold on, he was telling me the truth the whole time, and this person right here, they're not for me. This person is not about what I'm about. They don't want to see me successful, and that's from all walks of life, right? That could be from any walk of life. So that's why I think that it's not just demographics. I think it's psychographics. So it's mentality. You know, it's really about, you know, aligning with people who really want what you want and uniting with people who really want what you want. And if you don't want freedom, justice, and equality for me, you're an enemy. And that's what we taught. Any human, I don't care what walk of life they're from, if they don't want freedom, justice, and equality for me, including myself, that's enemy.
You know, let me say this, because just a minute ago you said that you can reference all the questions that we asked to the teachings, and what came to my mind is that listening to your journey, you are like a great example of the application. A lot of us get the knowledge, but applying it is a whole other science.
You gotta believe it though, brother Ahmed. So let me tell you the benefit that I had growing up in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My parents teaching me Islam at a young age, being in junior FOI class, being, you know, in that environment, listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan my whole life. There was never a time in my whole life, no matter what I was going through, that I didn't believe that I had an advantage because I had these teachings, and that they were true. I've always 100% my entire life, I had that luxury of always believing that the teachings were true.
No doubt in it. No doubt.
No doubt, man. I've always believed since a baby, like since I was young, I've always believed that the teachings were true. So it's hard to apply something that you truly don't believe in. You know, like
that's like good teaching, bro. Come on, man.
You gotta believe it, man. Like,
come on, man. That's good teaching.
You gotta test it to believe it. It's like how to eat to live, right? Right.
Yeah.
So I always thought how to eat to live was true, right? But I never applied it until I got married. Until COVID hit, and my wife being an ICU nurse, she was able to read the books and break them down to me in a way scientifically, because that's the way I learn. I'm a data-driven type of person. So I like data. That's my way of learning. So she was able to break it down to me, cause and effect. When you eat this food, it creates this effect. Broke it down like when you eat this, it equals this. Right. When you eat this, it does this.
That's math.
Your stomach looks like this. This is why you got so much mucus. Like when my wife started breaking it all down to me, and she was concerned that if you get COVID, I'm not comfortable. Like she was uncomfortable, right? So when she started breaking it down and we start applying it and we start putting down the starches, eating foods with lower glycemic indexes, which measures like your sugar and how fast the food converts to sugar,
Right.
and telling me that, hey, a potato equals diabetes. You might not recognize that because the potatoes are so starchy and pastas have so much starch they convert to sugar, which equals diabetes. But I didn't know that until she started breaking that down to me. I'm like, whoa, I don't want diabetes, and I don't want to be sitting up here representing the teachings with a big gut and saying that I'm this and I'm that. I don't want all of that. I don't want to be out of shape and doing all of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want all of that. I didn't want that anymore. But she made it so plain for me that I lost 35 pounds. I think we did it in a 90 to 120 day process. And then I became a knower in how to eat to live. I don't just believe it. Right. Now I know it because I had to experiment to go from belief to knowledge. We had to experiment it. So a lot of us, we don't experiment the teachings on the teachings. So if you don't experiment how to eat to live, how do you think you're going to get the result? It's science. It's a scientific teaching.
That's right.
So that means it has to be put into practice, and you have to measure the results because Islam is mathematics. So when you combine that and put it together, now you got something that you could actually believe in, know to be true, apply, and then what? Secure the benefit for you and your family.
While you live.
Absolutely.
While you live, which is the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right. So I see we got some questions from the guests, but before we get to your question, guest, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial. How we want to do it, Brother Kawi?
Yeah, I'll take over, man. So thank you again for tuning in to Jock Brothers Let Us Make Man. Man, this is a great show.
Crazy.
Really great show. If y'all could please share your show. There's a lot of people need to hear this. Very inspirational, very motivational. Not only should you share it, you should subscribe and you should hit the bell. So please share this show and be a constant viewer of the Jock Brothers. And of course, man, please support the platform. Our Cash App information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, it's $ JAKQ Bros. Again, JAKQ BROS. And always support our prison initiative. I'd like to give a big shout out to our sister Mavis X out in Houston, Texas. We got our sister Katrina Hopper, that's a constant viewer. We salute you.
Part of Jock Nation.
Part of the Jock Nation, always supporting our show. So thank you. All right, that's all I got for you, Brother Jackie.
Okay. So we're gonna go to our guest, Brother Dawud Johnson, right? No, Muhammad. You sure you didn't go to that meeting and say my name was Johnson? Okay. All right. So not. One of our guests asked, "What are the first steps you did to monetize your talents, being paid what you were worth?"
So I think getting in the environment. So I got really fortunate, I think, to get into a big ticket commission based environment, and I think that's one of the things that we got to do. I was listening to a lecture one day, and they said the same energy that you used to do something small, it usually takes about the same energy to do something big. But the difference is when you solve a big problem, the results, the payout is bigger. So I had to try to find a bigger ticket item in a bigger problem to solve.
Right.
And, when I was selling hats, I made $30 a dozen. That's $5 a hat. It cost me $30 to buy. If I sell 5 hats, that's $60. I made a $30 profit. That's a decent situation for me. If I sell 3 dozens, I made $90 that day. It's a nice situation for me. But man, if I take a bigger ticket item like a car and I sell 20 cars, it's a tougher sell, but it's really the same energy. All I had to do was study, apply myself, learn, the mentality of the customer, learn how to separate myself, provide a unique buying experience for me by the proper handling of people, treating people right, having integrity in my approach to doing business, and providing a premium service and charging a premium price for that premium service. Not ripping people off, but
Right.
if Ritz Carlton has nicer, cleaner, more comfortable beds, they just cost more. So if I could provide a higher level of service, then my strategy is differentiation. I want to provide a better level of service. So I want to differentiate myself in the marketplace, and I want to charge more for better service. So with that approach, I'm able to monetize my talents in a big ticket commission based item marketplace, and then I'm able to separate myself by committing to investing and treating people with the necessary respect that they deserve as consumers, customers, and just people in general. And then from there, you grow and you get referral business, and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. If you can make a commitment to the proper handling of people and the treatment of people, the business continues to grow and grow and grow, and then you build a brand that's synonymous with integrity, that's synonymous with diligence, that's synonymous with respect and honor and moral character. This is all what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us. All of this is how we should do business. He says,
It's definitely
anything that you do, strive to do it in excellence. Strive to be excellent at whatever you do. So to monetize your talents is to craft those talents in a manner where you could perform that talent and that gift in an excellent way. It don't matter what the product is, although I like big ticket items, but there's somebody right now that's super successful off of selling socks. There's a person that went from selling socks to manufacturing socks, and that person's performing at an excellent level, and they're super rich off of that, and they're free.
Right.
So I think that's about the commitment to excellence. I think that's how you monetize your talents. Take that talent and then craft that talent in to express excellence.
Praise be to Allah.
Can I just read something from the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan real quik that I want to make sure
Go
I
ahead,
read?
bro.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
So this is on the spiritual development part of the introduction to the ministries, the 9 ministries of the Nation of Islam. The minister says, self-development is an absolute essential component of this microcosm of the new world. It is not enough that we grow horizontally through the acquisition of farms, factories, banks, industry, trade, commerce, money, good homes. Horizontal growth alone is death. All dead things are on a horizontal level. Therefore, we must grow vertically, grow in uprightness, or we will be overcome by our horizontal growth. The foundation of this ministry are study and training units designed on the guidance of Allah God to produce self-examination, self-analysis, self-correction, and to quicken in each of us the self-accusing spirit. For it is only when we are awakened morally that we have to face the self-accusing spirit that leads to our resurrection. So I always want to that's in I think in alignment with the monetizing your gifts and monetizing your talents. There's a training that I used to train with some of my sales reps, and I used to always tell them, if you want to be a good salesperson, you want to be a better salesperson, just be a better person. So it's just self-development. I mean, righteousness is so contagious, man. It's so contagious, but it's so sustainable. In that day, right? Your righteousness will sustain you. We are in that day, right? According to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, we're in that day. So I think that to monetize your talents is to build yourself. It's all self-improvement. So that's what I would say to that question.
Excellent, excellent. So, how do your friends at Toyota feel about you not being an owner at Nissan?
Oh, no, we trying to get a Toyota store too. We work. It's so funny. I just talked to Toyota a couple days ago. We're working on that too. Yeah,
Wow.
we're working on Toyota also. Inshallah. That's one of my ultimate goals to own a Toyota store too.
So that wouldn't be a conflict of interest or nothing like that, huh?
I gotta serve the people, brother. Some people like Nissan, some people like Toyota,
Absolutely.
some people like Honda, some people like, Ford. It's just, as many brands as we can own. We wanna do that. But I got an affinity for Nissan because of them helping me realize this dream. So there's an affinity for Nissan because I align with with Nissan and what they've been able to help us accomplish for my family and I.
So let me ask you a question. So now, some of the things you said, you're right, man. Horizontal, I can, if the messenger said it, I agree pretty much anything the messenger say, right? We do have to grow. I know one of the things that Brother Jackie, he have an issue with is some fish fries, or we the giveaway. It's like we car washes. It's like we still right here, and we need to go up, right?
We off the chain, boy. I gotta take a sip for that, man.
I mean, hey man, you was here for a minute, right? You was here for a minute,
bro.
Hey man, let's get some wise words to those that want to say right here, bro.
That's facts. I do have an issue with that. Those fundraisers, car washes, and fish fries. That's facts.
GoFundMe's and stuff like. Come on, man. It's time to elevate. It's time to get to follow in your footsteps. What's some wise words you can give people that just have that fear of taking that leap, man? Just saying, you know what? Let me get this store. Then,
the fear of taking the leap.
Yeah,
man, you just gotta put your faith in the God, and then go get it.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's really that simple. Like, you really gotta put the faith in the God, and then you gotta go get it, and He'll prove to you that He's real.
He definitely do that. Come on now.
He will prove that.
Come on.
Time and time and time and time and time again. He will prove that He is real.
Well, segueing on what we said about setting up, the fish fries and car wash, but you were saying earlier that you were setting up systems. You was organizing systems to put in place to make sure there was growth and development in the company and in the community, right?
Yes, sir.
But you touched on the answer a little bit as far as the different dealerships that you're opening. But what is the total concept and future for your company and your business?
So Nation Automotive Group, right? So ultimately, when I was younger, I always wanted a school of entrepreneurship. Like, that's one of my ultimate goals. I was talking to my wife about it the other day. One of my ultimate goals is a school of entrepreneurship. And I'm working with a brother right now. To help build a course on the fundamentals and some of the basic elements of going from I got this idea to I have all the resources needed to make this idea a reality, from human resources to compliance to training to accounting to marketing to supply, value chain, all of the elements of business to actual functioning as a business, right? So that is, to me, that's creating the business system, which is the foundation, like creating that and learning the business acumen which is the foundation, the legalities to protect the business, tax planning, all of these type of cash flow management, all of these type of elements of business that we we need to learn to be sustainable and to create foundation that we can grow upon. Did that answer the question, Brother Ahmed?
Oh yes, sir, 100%.
I
Because
have a question, Brother Dawud. For those who are thinking of going into business with someone, with your experience of being a 25% owner, and what type of advice would you give? All right, say that, because I'm a business owner as well. Say I wanted to merge with another business as well. So, what type of advice would you give to someone that's going in business with someone? You know, what are some of the things that we should make sure is done? We should look for, or, whatever comes to mind.
Yes, sir. So my partner that I was in business with was impeccable. Just to put that out, just to establish that I wasn't in business with like some scrub. My partner is number one in the car business, period. The number
Yes,
one
sir.
independent operator, owner of a dealership group in the entire country, just hands down number one, right? Billionaire, massive success, 120 plus stores, just super successful. So one of my mentors was teaching me to hire where your weaknesses are. So typically, if I'm looking to do business,
come on, man.
I want somebody that is strong in the area that I'm not strong, because we don't need to overlap in our strengths and then not grow, right?
Right.
So I'm looking for, it's like looking, when you're doing a business partner, it's a marriage. So it's like looking for a helpmeet. I'm like, when I met my wife, 25% owner of Nissan of Hendersonville. My wife and I'm sorry, 25% owner of West Palm Beach Nissan when I met my wife. Okay. My wife was an ICU nurse, per diem ICU nurse. She was doing very well, making six figures since she was 25. And she was very successful, independent of me. I was successful, independent of her. We meet, we're compatible. We get married. Okay. We get married in February, March, April, May, June, July. 5 months later, I'm forced out. Okay. 9 months later, 100% of Nissan, 100% owner of Nissan of Hendersonville. So 75% of the work is with the woman. Before I meet her, I'm 25% partner of West Palm Beach Nissan.
Come on now. Go ahead with that.
9 months later, I'm 100% owner, or not,
Come on, man.
of Nissan of Hendersonville. So the match, right, where I was weak, my wife was absolutely strong. So my wife is a gourmet chef. My wife is super, super strong from a health perspective. My wife is 9 years younger than me. So she makes me to live. The more I live, the more I want to live. The more I want to live, the more free I want to be. The more free I am, the more I want freedom for others. So everything that I have to do to improve myself is now just bigger than me. It's like I want to live and I want others to live. So now I'm fueled from a more divine, I would say, intention, and it fuels me to, grow and do better. But I'm married and partnered up with someone who was strong in areas where I wasn't as strong, but I absolutely needed to take it to that next level. So when I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for someone who is strong in an area that I'm not strong in, but aligns from a moral perspective. I don't want a superstar, that cheats on his wife. I'm not interested, because that's a tough scenario to work with. I want a person that could be trusted. I want a person that
Right.
is spiritually intact. That's spirituality in business. I want a person I'm not comfortable around, brothers who cheat on their wives. I'm just not interested. I'm not comfortable. That's not something that I could feel safe doing business with a brother that cheats on his wife. I'm just not interested.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta find a person that aligns morally, right?
Come on,
And
man.
then
I
you
love
gotta
it.
find that compatibility. You
Yes,
gotta find
sir.
that person that is strong where you're weak. So when I'm looking to hire people, I'm looking for where am I weak? Where am I weak? And then I'm hiring so that I'm not weak anymore. Collectively, we're not weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're collective Allah, collectively, right? So if we could put all of the pieces together, man, we got something special. But everybody got to bring what they bring to the table. They got to bring something to the table that I don't already have. Sometimes that could be money. Sometimes that could be accounting skills. Sometimes that could be you're a marketing guru. Sometimes that could be, inspiration. You the type of person I could bounce ideas off of, and you go and inspire me, as opposed to I bring an idea to you and you tell me that's unrealistic. So it's just,
Come on, man.
you got to be around people that's going to be that's going to complement the vision.
Praise be to Allah.
Wow. Go ahead, brother. It's always good to hear a brother talk so fondly of their wife and they're not in trouble. I mean,
Yeah, because
you speaking like that, she had to be over there grinning when she had to be just glowing like, oh man, that's always beautiful to hear that, brother.
Well, you got to give respect to, you got to get credit where credit's due, man.
Yes,
I know where I was before her, and I know where I'm at with her.
But I'm talking about he did the math, brother.
I did the math, bro.
He said, brother, I was 25% owner, and 75% of the teachers is with the now I'm 9 months later, 100% owner. This man did the math.
Those just the facts, bro.
Right out of Jerry Maguire, she completes.
Come on, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. No, that's good. That's good. That's good. But also, what about the paperwork though? When you
What about it?
in business, when you merging the paperwork, like it, I don't even know what merging look like. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with other companies out here. Me and other companies, man, we work together. It's about 5 or 6 of us. Roll off. I have a dumpster service or a roll off business. And it's like 5 or 6 of us. We work together constantly. Every day we exchange a different thing. And I'm wondering, like with merging, as far as paperwork, what that looks like, and is there any advice you can give us towards that avenue?
So when it comes to like the business, right? So I think that when it comes to the business, you got to handle the business. So one of my mentors told me that a contract is a reminder, a documented reminder of an agreement that 2 friends had. So, but we also taught that too, though, to write up an agreement. Like if Muslims are doing business together, right? Non-Muslims can't teach us. Write up an agreement, right? So because we're human and we can make mistakes and we can forget things, and right. So we got to write up an agreement. So for me, if I'm in a merger situation and I sit down with a couple of brothers that I want to do, some type of business with, and we lay it all out. We document it, right? We talk about it. We talk through it. This is what we want. This is our exit plan, our exit strategy. This is the percentage you should get. This is when I get paid. This is when you get paid. So it's like an operating agreement. So we put together an operating agreement on how we're going to operate the business. And we get an attorney and we draw it up and we make sure that each person has an attorney that represents them so that it's fair and everybody and the language is fair and it's equitable for everyone. And we sign off on it and we govern that business relationship by that language that we all agreed upon up front. So when it comes to that, I don't spare a lot of savings when it comes to attorneys. That's the one situation that I'm not willing to take the risk on is language in the business. I think that that's so important to make sure that the language is right.
That's good teaching, bro.
That's what I would say.
No, thank you, brother. That's excellent. That's good teaching.
Praise to Allah.
All right. Go ahead, brother Kawi. You had something?
I ain't got nothing, man.
Okay. He covered everything. Well, look, brotherhood, brother Dawud, man, it's been excellent, brother. Excellent having you on. By Allah's grace, man, we hope that Allah bless you with so much success, brother, that you may inspire a new generation, inspire an older generation, but inspire those around you that see you to do better in their lives. I do hear your commercial on the Final Call Radio. That's you, right? That is you.
Let me speak on that real quick before we
Yes,
go.
sir.
My dad had
Yes,
a question too. My dad texted me a question. What is the importance of doing for self? So I want to just answer that briefly and then go into the Final Call Radio. So I think one of the important reasons of doing for self is to have like for me, we're created in the image and the likeness of God, of Allah, right? We're created in the image and the likeness. And I think likeness is the ability to perform in a like manner. So one thing that I think Allah has done for us as humanity that is so important is that he's left the evidence of his creation for us to experience and to continuously prove to us that nothing is impossible because he did the impossible already. So to be in accord with Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, is to be creative. And what I realized is the minister says that fear stifles growth. And the lack of being able to be creative stifles growth too. So ultimately, what I'm hoping to accomplish is to be free to accept my own and to be myself. And what is myself? Myself is a righteous Muslim. So I want to be able to express all that Allah has put inside of me before it's all said and done. And I want others to be able to do the same. It's really, really, really challenging to do that if you're not doing for self. I was talking to Student National Secretary, Brother Saad Alim, one day, and he said that you really can't, paraphrasing it because I don't want to misquote him, but this is the concept that I understood. You really can't truly experience Islam if you're not free.
It's true.
So
Wow.
I want to do for self, to be free, to live and to experience Allah's creation, and then make a contribution to humanity, to earth, to the world that Allah has put inside of me, that's sitting inside of me. I want to be free to contribute. And I don't want to be the guy who sells cars. I don't want to be the guy who writes music or the guy who's in love with his wife. I don't want to just be that. I want to be all that Allah has put in me to be, but I have to be free to be that. And I don't want to be sold cheaply for $100,000 salary or $1 million salary or 10 million or 100 million. Because 100 million won't change my lifestyle today. I mean, I live how I want to live right now. I got everything that I want right now. But what will change my lifestyle is to not be free.
Me too, brother.
So we want freedom, man. We want freedom, right? That's what we want. So do for self is so important because we want to be free, man. We was enslaved for 400 plus years.
No, man.
We want to be free, man. Like that's what it all, that's what it all comes down to. Like just being able to free others. So I also want to be free enough to support a program that is dedicated to resurrection, that's dedicated to freedom, justice, and equality, that's dedicated to awakening the dead people, the dead people that are dead mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. We're dead in so many ways. And there's an enemy, man. There's an enemy who is against us just living a equal life, to have a equal reality. There's an enemy that doesn't want me just to be myself. But there's a God who has a man on the scene who is helping us to overcome that. And that's the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Preach, bro.
Brother, that was a perfect closure. And that was perfect last words, brother. I'm telling you, brother Dawud, it's been wonderful having you on.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I gotta get all of this up out of me, man.
Yeah,
Get it all out, bro.
Don't worry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So all right, let's go around, brother Ahmed. Any closing words, sir?
Brother Dawud, ever since I met you, years ago, you was in college, we linked right away because but it was something that you said earlier. A brother called me today and we were expressing that same thing about joining brothers with like minds, but not just like minds. That morality is so important to me, and the people that I have in my circle, that's one of the foundations that I base my friendship on when I do business with them, is that morality. So I'm glad you said that. And you always been a brother that possessed that, and so I'm just so proud of you, man, and your success throughout the years, and that you never really, from what I've seen, fell into any of the pitfalls that you could have, growing up, that we could have fallen into in life. So praise be to Allah, and much success in anything you're doing. And I'm definitely ready to come see you. So,
brother, I did fall into the pitfalls, but I was saved too. Allah intervened in my affairs and came and got me. I did fall into the pitfalls. That's another story. We could do that in part 2. We could do part 2. That's the prodigal son. We could go there, and there's so many lessons in the pitfalls. I would love to talk about those too one day.
Absolutely.
When we come back and do this again.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. I don't know. I look like I seen a tear from Ahmed. I'm just trying to make sure. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about, man. That brother got so much love in him. All right, brother Kawi.
Oh, yes, sir. So, yeah, man, I was told a long time ago, man, you want to know who you are as a person? Check out 5 of your best friends. Brother, the words you was giving us today, the answers you was giving us today, just your total testimony, man. You must be around a lot of great people.
Praise be to Allah. Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you right now, your dad is super proud of you. As soon as we had duty together this Saturday, and the first thing he said to me, Brother Kawi, why haven't I ever interviewed my son? I said, well, let's make it happen, brother. And just like that, we here, man. So, brother, your story is impressive.
Thank you, brother.
Your dad is taking you out there selling hats and final calls at the age of 5, brother. You say it had a lasting effect on you, and I wish he hit more of us like that. I wish it hit me the way it hit you, you know. But one thing about it, I have the entrepreneur spirit in me. And if I had the, I guess, the know-how, the intelligence that you have, and I had a team around me as strong as you, and I'm building on that right now, man. I mean, I hope to one day see you at the top. I don't want you to be up there all by yourself, brother. It's lonely at the top.
That's right.
I want to get
Absolutely.
there
We
with
working.
you.
I'm working with a brother right now in the nation who is a absolute business, just I mean, he's out of this world, and I'm working to merge with him to create a program in the course to help that entrepreneurial spirit be manifested. And
Right.
he calls it become bankable. So where you could take that entrepreneur spirit, walk into a bank, get a couple mil, and then go make it a reality.
Get a cup of meal.
And go make it a reality. You might not
Whatever
need a
you
couple
talking
mil,
about.
but whatever, you know what I'm saying? It might be 100,000 and you could turn that into a couple mil. But the objective is to put everything in place, even the team, you know what I'm saying? To have the team and put it all in place to where we could go from idea to implementation to success. And then take, you know, spin out of what Allah has given us to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan continue to wake up our people.
Build this nation, man.
And build this nation. And
That's
one
right.
last thing I want to say too is a note came to me that I think is a trial, because we all gonna make it to the top, but when we do get there, if the testimony, if you, I mean, any mini mighty mo, you could interview any employee that has ever worked under my leadership. Is when you're in a position of power, be Muslim, right? When you're in a position of power, be Muslim. So I try to administer freedom, justice, and equality to any human that's under my leadership in any business that I've ever ran or any dealership I've ever run. You can't find a single person, no matter their color, their sexual preference, no matter their color, creed, in any of that, because we want a complete and equal freedom for all people, right?
That's right.
No matter their color, class, creed. When we're in a position of power, I think we have to make sure that we be Muslim, that we administer freedom, justice, and equality to all people. I think that's super, super important that we we really consider that. And I think that's what I would say about that. We did talk about the Final Call Radio too, right? We talked about Final Call Radio already.
Go ahead, talk about it.
So we because we advertise on Final Call Radio every single month.
Hey.
Every single month we're on Final Call Radio. Every single month we're able to because we have control and we do it for self. We're able to put the Final Call Radio in our budget and support that radio station. Every single month we do that, and every time we sell a new car, we set aside a certain amount of funds to give back to the mission. So and that's our objective every year, to support the Nation of Islam and the causes of the Nation of Islam.
Come on, man.
Because ultimately people got to understand, man, like the Nation of Islam, and I'm proof. People that work for me, they'll tell you we're not racist, man. People are so confused about that. We're not racist. We want equality. That's it. We don't subscribe to supremacy based off of skin color.
Right.
We want freedom, justice, and equality for all of humanity.
That's right.
We are not equal in business. You can name an industry, pick an industry. We're not equal. I'm in an industry where only 1.47% of the entire industry is owned by a Black person. That's unfair, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're in an organization, we're in a nation that wants freedom, that wants equality. And that's what we're working on. So my fuel is to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as much as I can, independent of what anybody thinks and what anyone says, because the proof is in the pudding. I'm one of his students. And I'm out here representing, and I don't mistreat people, and I do everything that I can to administer freedom, justice, and equality for every single person that works under my leadership. Doesn't matter their color, their class, or their creed, because that's our teachings. That's what we're taught, contrary to what this enemy says about us. So I just want to say that.
Well, that was well said, brother. Well, look, Jock Nation,
You agree?
we ask that you go back and rewatch this video. We ask that you go back and like and share. We ask that you go and share this on all the platforms that you have, and we ask that you go tell your family, friends, co-workers, and everybody to tune in on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Jock Brothers, let us make man.
Praise be to Allah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, hold on. Final words. We have no special.
Take us out, Ahmed.